You hear the stories about, the pregnant woman pushing the car off of her child, or lifting the car off of her child, things like that. People for a long time would say that it was just that level of fear would release adrenaline, and we would utilize all the muscles in our body in a more concerted effort. But I don't believe that really accounts for, the woman being able to lift a car off of her kid. I don't know that the human body really has that physical capability. Pound for pound, it doesn't make sense. And yet we do it somehow. And I think that she is the answer to how we do that.
Okay, here we go. I am here. Let's get this party started.
Have gunk and dust and debris and a loose connection across an electrical circuit, the current weakens. It's the same with our bodies. If you are dirty physically and emotionally, you don't leave room for that and freedom for the channel to have it flow, to have everything, the chi flow through. So we'll start now. You close your eyes or just get in a comfortable position. Begin with the breath. Just center the flow. Try to be just solely in the mind. Forget to even talking in a conversation, in a video. Hear this voice's abstract direction, guiding the mind. We'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. When we breathe in, we try and make it as slow or effortless as possible. And rather than sort of sniffing in, like very shallow frontal nasal breathing, we try and feel the flow of air at the back of the throat. And notice the flow seeping in and feeling it actually descend into your chest cavity. And also, on an exhale, let everything sink downwards, sink to the ground as though it's rooting you, sedimenting you on the floor. Feel the energy mid through the throat, descending down, and pushing downwards, sedimenting what is useful into your body, and everything else passes out into the ground, rooting you, making you feel comfortable, safe, secure, at home, and at peace. Once this has become effortless, it's not quiet thought, begin to imagine that the flow of air that comes in through the throat begins to curl by the perineum, the space between your anus and genitals. Imagine a string of light that wraps into a spiral. And at first visualize it. With every breath curls and reverses in the exhale. Going up or down for you, whichever feels right at this time. Once you've visualized it, feel it in the space where it is. So you link the visualization to the physical space in your body, rather than just seeing it in your mind. It becomes a physical presence. In, curling, out and winding. Building up a generation, a storehouse of energy. Making you feel more safe, secure, warm, home, and at peace. And from that we'll raise the hands. And beginning to feel this energy expand through all the limbs. Splitting the awareness between the breath and focusing on the skin around your fingers and hands. We'll move into the first exercise here. When you're ready, open your eyes to sit in front. So, hopefully you feel
Thank you, Anthony.
rested.
Many thanks, Anthony.
Trying to get into that balance between being asleep and being awake. And that's where we're most still and calm, fresh and alert, as well as settled and still. Find that middle line. And so, same as we did last week, we put the hands a distance apart, focusing on the edges of the skin, feeling warmth. If your hands are cold, you can excite them, rub them together, even just give it a slap and get some feeling flowing. Awareness. It's important when we do these sorts of things to always come back to that stillness we just had. We can get very invigorated very quick and start making a lot of noise and get very excited in the mind, but we need to always remember the breath and come back to stillness. It's a very easy way to stunt the flow of chi by getting back into a head trip. So we need to stay grounded in our bodies, focusing on the energy. And in this case, just lingering on the edges of the skin and imagining something between your hands. Whatever you visualize, just give it, play with it, let it be a novelty, beach ball, a wave, a spiral of air, magnetism, whatever you like. You can even make it silly string or something. And the second step after this was to expand and contract, to visualize it before moving. So you want your hands to wobble in and out. You don't want to put physical effort into it. So imagine that the invisible force of your mind is guiding, pushing and pulling on the hands, being fueled by the breath. Slowly feel that becoming more present. Start to feel the heat or magnetism gain momentum. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. And then just give a few more seconds to let that become more real, more present. Deep, slow breaths. Now we feel this presence in the hands. We should also note that this is a whole body exercise. We use the hands to direct the mind and begin feeling the sensation. Ultimately, the whole limb, both your limbs, all your limbs, should be expanding, contracting together in this energetic flow, all synchronized by your breath. We can move our hands from this small and concise wobble to eventually becoming a big, grand movement. And so this pulse where the mind is directing chi is almost like a marionette moving our body away, pulling it towards it. Use any thoughts or emotions that come up and just link them to what we're doing. The monkey mind will want to bring things to your attention, put them to good use. It's helping you. And the last part of this exercise is to just have the hands ready, not focusing on moving or anything, but imagine your hands expanding outwards. Just imagine it. And visualize seeing it happen in front of you, as though your hands are lifting up and away from you. Imagine what it feels like. Imagine seeing it happen. Do that 3 times. Imagining the hands going up and out. Imagine them going up and out. Imagine them going up and out. And now, imagine them going up and out again, but your arms follow behind this presence. So this visualization you're making of your hands extending up and out is leading your physical body. So you see it happening before your arms move out, and they almost create a wake that your hand falls into and is pulled by it. Just like a boat leaves a wake in the water, and the water is pulled behind it. Same with our hands. Full body movement. This is not limited to the shoulders, not limited to the elbows or wrists. Your whole body is expanding and lifting up, and then contracting, shrinking, condensing. With the breath, you can link it up for a few movements. Take all you have collected back to the hands, visualizing that point of energy, feeling it gain strength, presence, vitality. This is the life force your mind is giving it. Where attention goes, energy flows. And now, to finalize this energy and put it to a direction, choose any energy center, part of your body, area of awareness you want to put this energy into. Use its healing life force as a memento, totem, of giving health and balance to that area. And on an exhale, invest it in that area. Shake it off, let it set in. Feel it seep into your body. Seeps into you just like water seeps into cloth. Release the hands. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Anthony. I just want to say a couple of messages because it's about my time. But I want to say thank you mostly because I couldn't really sleep last night, and I can already tell my energy is 1,000 times now than I was this morning when I couldn't get up. So this is going to be really a great start to start my day. And I just want to say thank you just for that experience. And I've definitely worked with Chi before, and that was very, very unique. So thanks. And I'll see you guys next time. It was such a pleasure to be here, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time and a wonderful talk.
You too as well, Karen.
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you there, Karen.
So we'll go into another meditation and exercise soon, but if anyone has any thoughts or ideas, questions, things like that, feel free.
Oh, I really feel like that with that motion of the two hands, it is like since we are made out of a positive and negative, male and female, push and pull, up and down, soft and hard. I really feel like that motion, it creates some type of repulsion, like of a magnetic, of like two opposites trying to reject each other. Like you know, for example, if you have two headphones and if you try to enclose them, they won't like be enclosed. One will push the other to the other way. I think, have you ever tried it before?
With you mean magnets?
You could say magnets, but I used headphones because every time when I used to do this with headphones, they would always retract each other, like there was some type of magnetic push, but that is not allowing them to be closed together.
Well, headphones have magnetic. They work on magnetism. They have coils inside, which then electrical current passes through and vibrate. So that's very interesting to try.
You see that if you see that they're literally repulsing each other.
I never noticed that. Yeah.
That's the key to the Taoism right there, is that we are opposites in unison in living form. We are the heaven and the earth brought together in one body.
Oh yes, that is so true. And that as I was saying that every time when I expanded the exercise that you taught us to expand our arms, and I pushed back, I felt like that those are like the headphones. I felt like that there was a repulsion between my arms, between my hands, that they literally pushed away my palms. It felt like that I was holding a ball, like literally a ball. So that literally surprised me, because I worked with chi, but not instructed. It was more like freestyling. But I felt like that I did more properly, because since I was more instructed in the more proper way to do it. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it started working for you so quickly, and it's, you know, you're getting benefits already. So that's a good sign.
So what about you, Josh? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think one of the keys that makes these chi meditations you're doing so good, honestly, is that you're getting people to notice the physical sensations in their body. You know, people talk about intuition and, you know, all of that stuff that goes alongside it, but the deepest source of knowledge or information you have is always talking to you. It's your body. And if you want to get good at anything, the only way to do that, as far as chi or anything like this goes, is getting in touch with your body, listening to it and learning to communicate with it, because it's going to tell you everything you need to know. That there's not really a correct way except listening to how you feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
you reminded me of the endocrine system, because all of our you know, emotions and hormones are all, you know, produced in the brain, and then they are directed towards different glands throughout our body. And usually when you get a mass dump of one of these hormones, you feel a tingling sensation or a vibration somewhere. You feel like a great emotional impulse come on. And that's what we need to get in touch with more. Like you said, the body knows what you need and will give you those clear signals. But we don't pay attention to those signals. We see emotions as kind of weakness or something that's just you know, a social reaction, nothing more. And so it's deeper than that. And, you know, definitely agree with what you're saying. It's the key to understanding what our body is saying to us. And we can listen more deeply and intently by just quieting the mind and feeling what those emotions really feel like deep down.
Also, so that I just realized here that what I saw and what I studied about, you know, I feel like that every like Tai Chi symbol, like of the strokes with the ink and everything, that's very much the body movements of how a body looks like. Like, for example, the symbol that I saw was this. If you can see it, can you see it?
Yes.
It's simply like.
It's also the symbol for the Tao.
Oh.
No, it's just slightly different. It's just slightly different. That's Thai, isn't it?
Oh yes, and that here, because this was the lower dantian, and here's the head, the arms, the stretching, and the kicking of the legs, and here's the stomach, and that's what he said.
Oh no, that is it. Yeah.
Yes. And what he said, and of the arms stretching out like that, and the kicking of the legs is the moving of the energy in the chi. So I feel like that every like calligraphy writing in Japanese that are to do with like chi, tai, all sorts of qi gong, all sorts of practices of moving the body around and controlling it. It's merely the expression on how we move. That I feel like that every piece is painted in the way that the piece represents. If there's a line there, I feel like that the stroke would be in a direct cross. So I feel like that in doing so, we represent chi in symbols. So like in Carl Jung's archetypes, each symbol represents the body's positions. So you could say that each symbol of Tai Chi is simply like, let's say, steps to do Tai Chi, or Qigong. Oh, that's the symbol, yes.
Well, where you're going with that, what's really interesting is this symbol itself is a chi exercise.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
referring to, yes.
Yeah. The first stroke is this one, and it represents the supreme, the ultimate, coming from the heaven and grounding through you and into the earth, and then back up from the earth to here, and then your left and right sides coming together to bring you into your center. And so as you visualize the energy moving through that circuit, you connect with each one of those pathways within your body. They actually, each one of these represents specific major meridians as well. And so as you're visualizing that, you're actually sending a full circulation through your major meridians.
I also studied that there is literally a scientific explanation for Qi, and that's, if I can quickly just show all of you guys, that glucose is basically the source of Qi that is around the body. So if you can see here, oh no, you'll not be able to see it. It's basically glucose that is the main center. That there is literally a formula for Qi that once you like with whatever emotion or whatever feeling you're feeling, the glucose is the one that literally supplies you with Qi. That's the in short explanation of it.
Well, and so glucose provides the body's energy, right?
Yes.
And so really there's actually extra steps, because what we're looking at as far as Qi, from the latest research I've seen, there's a full institute in China devoted to the study of Qi, and has been for 50 years now, at least. And what they and some Russian scientists have corroborated between each other is that every time you have a psychic or a Qi master and they're utilizing this energy, they've discovered that there's a release of biophotons. That's particles of light created by the body from biological origin. And so those particles of light are created from energy, that physical energy like glucose. And that's where that particle of light is generated from. But, you know, what we're still not sure of as far as the science goes is exactly where the separation between those photons and other photons is. Is it possible that when these Qi masters are talking about, I'm absorbing Qi from the sun, that they're literally absorbing photons of solar light and repurposing them within their body? Or is it just a psychological effect of something that's already naturally occurring within their body? And that's kind of what the big study is right now, as well as how can we most efficiently train people to access these, you know, the ability to generate these photons.
So true. But also, I just remembered that it's glucose, water, and oxygen. That he said that those are the three things that the body needs to be for energy. That's the breath, the water that we have around the body, and the glucose, which supplies the energy, is the Qi. That's so true.
What's important to note as well is glucose is not the same as fructose or sucrose. I mean, we can take glucose from these.
Right.
If you consume high amounts of fructose or sucrose, then it's usually turned into fat. If your body is not in need of glucose, just go straight to storage. You know, our brains run on glucose. You know, that if you ever get a headache or feel run down, lethargic, it's probably because your brain is running low on glucose and needs some more to top up. Similarly, with when you have a hangover, you need a dose of sugar, and as well as replenishing some body salts. And it was a lesson I learned when I was a teenager, was that you need a massive dose of sugar before you go to bed if you've been drinking a lot. So that's something to save a lot of pain and detrimental effects on the body for anyone who does still drink.
So where do you go from here, guys?
So for the next exercise, it's actually what's called an energy dance, and it's kind of expanding upon what we've already been practicing into the kind of full range of movement and full freedom of expression, which gives it's as well as, might as well call it an energy bath, where you're channeling and pulling this creative force through all of the body that you devote to the practice. So to ease into that, we'll start by standing up. And you can do this sat down, so don't feel like you have to stand. We want to do the same, starting with the arms, and keeping everything loose, you know, stand, feet shoulder width apart, let your knees have a slight bend, stack the spine so that it's upright, not slouching over, you're not trying to push your chest out or stand up too high. Shoulders relaxed, tensed up, not pushed forwards, just loose, comfortable. And imagine the arms rocking backwards and forwards. Let them just start with slow movement, as always, just imagining the movement and building it up, just like scalar waves, just as if you stand on a bridge and start jumping, it bounces back and forth. So you do the same with your arms. This energy becomes very present, becomes very effort. If you feel like you're moving, or throwing your arms around with physical energy, just reach there to slow it down, use the imagination. Imagining that it will gain power and momentum, getting bigger. Circuitry movements. Let this spiraling flow up your arms into your upper areas, your shoulders, your chest, into let it take you wherever it takes you. You can rock in any way, you have to be going backwards and forwards. Just almost feel like you're in the ocean and you're just going along with the current. It slows down if it wants to slow down. It speeds up, speed up. Just let the mind direct it. Slowly, let every single connection come into play. Neck, head, breath, breath. Let it go to your pelvis, knees. First, this can feel quite silly, and just let it play with that. You know, let that become novel and fun and interesting. If you feel like you want to just move out, expand, change somewhere else, then do that. Just move back into this flow, moving around. You can do this while walking. You can do this while you sat down on your bed. Just letting subtle movement take over. And direct your mind, fueled by the breath. And slowly, see how this starts to become something you can play with. And then you start to see how these things like Tai Chi and Qigong, the way they are, why they are the way they are. So you're just directing, flowing with this external energy, directing different ways. You can always center that back in yourself, wherever it takes you. Just have freedom of expression. It can be as simple as just waving your hand back and forth. It can be as simple as rocking your spine side to side, feeling that wave start to take over. Let your inner creativity speak to your body. You will be dancing the energetic field around you. Finds often the body will start to move into ways that release muscle tension. Got to heal the body physically. Letting this energy flow to places it doesn't usually get to. So you can see how you can link this up with physical exercise and stretching. If you say stretching your side, you begin to spiral your spine, your arms, your shoulders, and just feel this energetic movement take over. It's coming a long way from just focusing on the hands. That's ultimately what we're doing here. We're doing the same thing and feeling it take over the entire body. So you move with purpose, build up power, presence of that energy. Matching it with the breath, taking in the beauty of the moment and directing that energy to wherever it needs to go. It doesn't just have to be about yourself. You can take this energy and release it to the world, release it to any thought you can imagine, whatever you feel like you want to devote that to. Go wherever it feels, serve. If you want to invest it in yourself, take it as a sweeping pole, as this kind of trail of light, energy. Take it up from your head, let it sink down into your spine from top to tail. Letting visualization take over. Feel it in this physical space, as well as imagining this bubbling, crossing energy, sinking into your body and bones. And thanks for that. So that's what's called an energy dance, and you can link it into any type of physical movement you already know. So if you know Tai Chi, if you know Kung Fu, if you know ballet, if you know capoeira, whatever dance or physical movement, sport you know, direct it to that. Even if you don't know these things, you've probably seen a movie with some kind of ancient techniques, martial arts, stuff like that. Just copy it, just visualize it and make it your own and play with it. That's what it's about. That's what makes it fun. And you'll get it. It sinks in.
I was just going to say, I tried the movements from that show, The OA, and they definitely create a very energetic, powerful feeling.
Yeah, I really, really love that series.
That is so true, because especially because all those movements, I feel like it really ties really perfectly with what I was saying about the choreography. That I feel like I feel like you can make those type of symbols of the Tai Chi by just doing that exercise that you showed us right there, Anthony.
Yeah, it becomes unique and it becomes directly relevant to your own experience. So it doesn't need to be something that you've followed and routinely learned. Then even translate those into something new and see it in a new way, because a lot of times when people practice a martial art or a energetic practice like Tai Chi, they will just get focused on the movements, just physically churning out those movements over and over again. But it's the mental presence that we need to invest into them, which gives it the energetic value.
Could you tell us, do you know some history about Qi?
Some history about Qi?
Yes. I like, do you know where it began, its origins?
Well, its origins come from nowhere. I mean, it just exists. It's been here since before we could conceive a thought of what it may be. But I mean, from the idea of bringing it into the mind, this is something that's descended down. So we've evolved to the point of where we can be self-aware and think. And then we've kind of decoded the knowledge and wisdom, turning it into wisdom, and then use that to create ideas that have value. Then we've turned those ideas into expression, and we've turned those expressions into things people love and fear and generate all sorts of emotions. Then that becomes something people strive to do. And then we've translated them into physical movement, which gives us safety, security, purpose, and a host of other different things. So you can see it in that way, in the way that Qi has helped us rise as a species and then evolved our minds in terms of the way it's been pulled inwards and down, setting into our physical beings.
That is so true, because I really feel like that in the Aztec, in some type of tradition that I forgot, it was in Amazon, they had this belief that if one has a good hara, good chi, good prana, then one is like will have a good life. Because in many cultures, such as like India, they would say that chi is prana, but it's actually just a different sort of way of saying that it is chi. Prana is prana and Agni is Agni. That they wouldn't say that if we were to consume a lot of bad things into our stomach, it would dim that fire that's in our solar plexus. That it's called the Agni. And that they said that the only ways into helping the Agni reignite itself would be through practices of yoga, of movement, of chi and meditation. Because now that I said meditation, there was literally I forgot the institute, but I think Joshua, you went and said a little bit into this, that they went into I think it was a type of X-ray picture of a leaf, and that they went and cut it, and it left a residual mark of energy in between the leaf. So that you could say it's the chi, it's the energy, it's the life force. Mm-hmm. And that they went and took a picture of a woman with the same type of X-ray type of camera thing. I forgot the name. I think it was
it's a Kirlian
same thing.
Kirlian.
Yeah. It's called Kirlian scanner or an EEG scanner.
Oh, EEG scanner. Yes. That I think it was that. Yes. And then before meditation, her aura, her chi, her energy was very low, and then after meditation, it was very high, very intense. So you could say that a lot in meditation, it increases energy. Because I have many experiences where I was in meditation and I literally felt just simply hot, just simply all on fire. In most other cases, my mind just became at peace at most cases, because I was not visualizing anything. But of course, when we're in those states, Do you guys think we're basically just like plants or organisms, as the Aztecs say that we're literally just living soil, living plants? That's the reason why we consume and we eat. We're basically just like organisms, like eating sunlight, eating energy. So you could say that we're a lot like the mitochondria. We're a lot like a mitochondria or organism that we just disperse of energy, and we can take it in. We can share it, and we can use it for whatever purposes that we need. But wow, I wonder what question is wrong. That why specifically the movement of all our things? Why movement?
Movement is just one way that we use this, and it's kind of one that's very relevant and vital right now. But you can get energy flowing. You can do everything that we're doing with this movement just in meditation, just by directing the thought and the idea. It's just that by moving, we are forced to devote time and energy into it. If you say, okay, just sit in meditation and all this stuff will come to you. Yeah, it will, but there's no direction there. There's no urgency. Something that ties you to bring it to life. If you sit in meditation, a lot of modern day people will just play with their thoughts. That you'll just have all the thoughts of your day rushing around in your head, emotions and past experiences will come to mind, things like that. And that's all fine. Like, we need to get through that stuff to then get into the stillness, which brings about the awareness of this vibrational energy. So it just so happens that when we start moving and doing physical exercises, we start to link that stillness of the mind to the physical presence that we walk around with every day, and it becomes more present in our lives over routine with discipline.
That is so true, because I've been reading a book about Sigmund Freud and about the discharging anxiety, that all the unconsciousness needs a discharge from its context, its energy. So that's when it said that that's how dreams are created. But so I feel like that is another way as well, because I feel like that chi is like a movement of just discharging all of it, all of those emotions that you've accumulated throughout your day. That's just something like very to think about.
Yep. That's the beauty to chi, right? You just recenter
and collect the mind. Yeah,
that is very true.
So we all got our water ready at the beginning.
Yes.
Something what you said, Brendan, wanted to bring full circle back with what we're doing with investing the mindfulness into physical practice. The same can be done for anything and everything around you. You can do it with the air, with a physical object, with your food, with your water. And so, just as I said, it's over time. The time is the big issue here. And that's why we use the physical movements, because we've spent an hour here, because we've got some physical exercise to tie into these thoughts and concepts. It makes it more present. You remember more about what's been happening through the physical exercise. And just like that, we can do it the same. We can do the same with what we consume. This water, this glass, earlier I cleaned by hand. I made sure to make it feel as pure and as fresh as possible. I set the intention. I would drink this at the end of this session, and it would make me feel good. And by doing that, you create anticipation for that moment, and you create the emotional swelling of feeling that it will serve its purpose. And just like something you said earlier reminded me, Brandon, of Masaru Emoto, the experiments that were done on water. Even when we speak, we let out vibration, and water has a memory. It changes its structure. It stays H2O, but the structure and the way those molecules bind together is changed by vibration. And you can see there's proof and validation of this in photographs of cryogenically freezing the water before and after different vibrations have been sent through the water. So I invite you to deliver a message of thanks and gratitude, or just direct any mental intentions you wish towards your water. Give it thanks and praise for being here, sustaining your life force. This will give you energy and life force for the next few hours, however long. If it was your last cup of water, it would sustain you for a very long time. So when you're ready, thank you. Namaste. Yeah. Make it fun. That's the point. Sinks down, makes you feel good. It's not just about the act of drinking it, it's after as well. It's before and after, the space of time. Investing the time in everything you do with goodwill and intention. So there's a few things we glossed over or missed out. There's a kind of like a chakra exercise that would be nice to go through, but maybe we'll save that one for next time. We've already been here for about an hour now. And
Okay, great.
Been a great talk.
Okay, so next time is basically a part 3 of chi of the chi talk.
The next one I'll be hosting will be for another chi exercise, yes, but next week, however, it's Karen's talk on coded water. So just like we've done with this, Karen will be speaking about different ways of bringing what we've just done into our everyday lives, different techniques she's experienced with, and other research she's done on the topic.
Yes, great.
So, look forward to that. And I think then the week after, you have something planned for us, Josh. Is that right?
I think we were going to do near-death experiences.
Yes, that's right. So that will be another interesting topic to go into, and then I think after the one you've hosted, Josh, then Brandon, you're welcome to come up with a topic or idea you want to share, and we can all flow with that as well.
Yes, I'll definitely make it on that website. I'll make it one after Joshua's one.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So with that, we'll end the session. Thank you guys for being here, sharing your thoughts, intentions, and your being. I give you gratitude, love and light. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you guys so much.